In the previous lectures, we proved to you that the wisdom of the zodiac is genuine and that there is a correspondence between events in the world and the cycles of 5 planets in the sky. For example, on October 7, 2023, the planet Uranus completed a full cycle in the sky and returned exactly to the point where it stood on the day Auschwitz began operating. In this lesson, we will dwell on a fascinating issue that borders on the imaginary and prove what is brought in the teachings of Hasidism, that technological developments are subject to the spiritual developments of the Jewish people in the Torah and Commandments. In a clip about Hanukkah and the Six-Day War, I revealed to you 2 mystical points in the zodiac related to miraculous events in the world. Here, I will reveal another mystical point. Although it is a spiritual point and indicates a type of spiritual work, which is the purification and sanctification of the world, it still has direct implications in the physical world and is revealed by revolutionary technological developments. Because technological developments indicate the level of refinement and sanctification of the world by the Jewish people. Therefore, during dramatic technological developments, at the moment the event begins, a planet will position itself exactly at the technological point. The fact that humans manage to cause spacecraft and objects to rise and fly to immense heights indicates a refinement and spiritual elevation of the material world. In other words, the material elevation stems from an elevation in the spiritual dimension. Similarly, the very fact that humans succeed in building buildings that reach great heights indicates a tremendous refinement in the spiritual dimension. The magnificent building that symbolizes the pinnacle of power, not only because of its immense height but also because of the economic strength it represents, is undoubtedly the Twin Towers. And it's truly amazing, when the building reached its maximum height, on the day the last beam was placed atop, known as the topping out, even the planets confirmed it, because on that day Jupiter reached the technological point. Let's move on to the second event. The day that symbolizes more than anything else the dramatic development of space flights is the first launch of astronauts to the moon. That is, not just the spacecraft but also humans. And remarkably, on the day of their launch, Neptune arrived exactly at the technological point. The next time Neptune will reach this point is only after 164 years. Now, let's go to a third event that is also related to the dimension of space. In 1990, NASA launched the Hubble telescope into space. This telescope was the most advanced at the time, and to this day, it provides stunning images of distant galaxies that we were previously unaware of. I expected that on the day of the launch, a planet would reach the technological point. Then, to my astonishment, I discovered that no planet had reached that point. Until I checked the timeline of the telescope and found that upon reaching its orbit around Earth, the scientists tried to obtain clear images from the telescope but without success, and the scientists reported a malfunction in the telescope. It became clear that the world was still not refined enough from the spiritual aspect, and there was still no room for such a vast and immense vision in the physical world. This was also reflected in the celestial system, as no planet reached the technological point. 3 years later, a team of astronauts was launched into space to fix the malfunction. The mission was successful, and Hubble began transmitting sharp and clear images from all corners of the universe. All this proves that during these 3 years, the purification and sanctification of the world by the people of Israel were completed, and thus the physical world was also prepared for such immense vision. Indeed, it is truly astonishing that on this historic day, the planet Pluto reached the technological point. Pluto is the slowest planet and completes an orbit in the sky only once every 245 years. It should be clarified that the point is not related to new inventions but to the application of technologies related to dimensions of time, space, and energy. And these are the most dramatic and powerful events that have occurred for the first time. The fourth event is related to the dimension of time. The development of the computer world also indicates the elevation of matter from the spiritual aspect. The computer is capable of performing actions at immense speed, without any time delay. This indicates a similar development in the spiritual realms. The first computers that were produced were not available to everyone, and their performance was lacking. Then IBM developed and released the PC to the market. To this day, all computers are based on the same idea. All the advancements in computer development today are mainly in processor speed and the ability to produce larger disk volumes, but the foundation remains unchanged. And behold, on the day IBM first launched the personal computer, the PC, the planet Uranus positioned itself exactly at the technological point. It should be noted that Uranus will return to this point only after 84 years. Finally, the fifth event, that is related to the dimensions of time and space. The discovery of radio waves undoubtedly contributed to the development of global communication. The application of radio waves began with sending messages using Morse code and evolved into radio broadcasting. A sharp turning point came in 1926 when the first intercontinental telephone connection was established via radio waves, meaning a transatlantic connection between London and New York. And on that very day, the planet Saturn reached its technological point. Thus, 5 events of technology related to time and space are completed. They indicate different spiritual states, and for this reason, a different planet was involved in each event. Let's move on to an example in the field of energy. The ability of atomic energy to transform atomic matter into immense energy indicates simultaneously the transformation of physical matter into spiritual and sacred through the Torah and commandments. And here, I would expect to see in the stars a hint of the first atomic bomb test conducted on American soil. But no, the use of atomic energy for bomb production is negative and disharmonious. Indeed, the celestial map on that day reveals nothing at all. In contrast, when science harnessed atomic energy for positive purposes, through a nuclear reactor that would hold and balance energy in a harmonious proportion, allowing for the production of electricity and energy, the celestial maps proved that this was indeed related to the purification and sanctification of the world. I searched for countries outside the American continent that do not possess nuclear weapons to see on the day they first succeeded in generating electricity with a nuclear reactor, if the planets also confirmed this event. And then I discovered that Switzerland, a country that does not possess nuclear weapons, on the day it first succeeded in generating by itself atomic nuclear power, the planet Neptune positioned itself exactly at the technological point. And on the continent of Asia, the state of India will be the first to generate electricity from nuclear energy. On this day, the planet Saturn was positioned exactly at this point. It should be noted that later, India began to develop a nuclear bomb. However, from the outset, the purpose of the reactor was to generate electricity, and nothing more. In a separate lecture, we will address the James Webb Space Telescope and prove that its launch into space is the result of an additional stage in the spiritual aspect of the sanctification of the world. The conclusion is that there are no coincidences.